All right, we're gonna go up the lift.
That's a weird statue.
Oh, that's what's happening.
There's a trebuchet.
Yeah, we're gonna go the other.
Ruh-roh.
It's not throwing rocks. It's throwing like weird cylindrical things. What the fuck? I'm just
Slabs of concrete.
maybe yeah. I don't know. That's interesting.
Just like chunks of the local rocks. Oh, not the evil spells.
I think they nerfed my beautiful ability that I love so much. I'm very sad about that. That's fine. My favorite weapon in the game. My
Who's
favorite.
even running this machine?
I dude.
Yeah, there's a dude there.
Rage.
Oh, there's the guy. I was trying to find the guy running it to kill him.
You have to rage against the machine, Andrew. Not for it.
I know. The rage is the machine.
Oh.
Terrible
I
news
like-
about most fans of Rage Against the Machine.
I was about to do the whole thing. Like, man, I was a fan of them. Before, they were better before they were political. Like that. That whole
They have such
shit.
embarrassing
The machine?
fans.
Yeah, the machine was better before it was political.
The biggest proponent of Rage Against the Machine that I've ever known went on to work at Google and make NFTs
Oof.
That's a pretty good career.
while listening to Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
I'm like, ignoring all of your opinions about everything, especially media, forever?
People are bad.
Yeah.
Once you become part of the machine, you have to cope and move the goalposts on what the machine is.
Rage Against the Machine's pretty good though.
Yeah.
All
I had a
right.
really petty, stupid video essay that I scrapped that was just me praising Rage Against the Machine while shitting on Avenged Sevenfold, just because it was like the extremely tenuous premise was just revisiting political songs from when I was a teenager. And there was obviously a nonsense thing to not a video to be made, but it was cathartic because I remember that when Avenged Sevenfold was popular from their self-titled album, there's like a song called Critical Acclaim where they just go on a very long pro-Bush, pro-Iraq war rant that's not even musical for like 2 minutes straight. He's just like yelling rapidly.
I was gonna say, no, 9/11 was Avenged Sevenfold's like muse. The entire culmination of that and then the Iraq War was like how they made all of their music.
Ugh.
It's
Like,
time.
when you go back, some of their most popular music is just them like dunking on the libs, and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
It's
This
time.
is metal? You think this is what you think metal is?
It's time to do two important things. We have to talk to Melina again, and we also have to.
Unless
I'm talking to her
We have
right
to
now. She's
shut
here.
up.
And then also we need to find a way to Darkroot
Spoken echoes of Queen Marika.
you have to
Linger
launch
here as
Dark Souls
well.
1.
or
Shall I
Deep
share
Root.
them with you?
Deeper, yeah, I always do the same
In
thing.
Marika's own words,
Deep root,
the
dark root.
Earth Tree governs all.
Deep Root Galactic.
The choice is
We're
ours.
not allowed to show root.
Become one with the Order, or divest
Isn't that a
thyself
Guardians of the
it,
Galaxy character?
to wallow at the
Yes, he has a big
fringes,
root.
a powerless upstart.
Yeah, he talks about it all the time.
Yeah, that's what root is short for. Great root.
Yeah. Even Eric, awesome show. Great root.
So did Melania talk about me?
Melina said that Marika talked here and
Why can't I get
said
up? Uh-oh.
some shit. She
Hmm.
said it's up to you to decide whether or not you follow Grace and become one with it, become one with the Golden Order, or divest yourself of it and become a useless neat. And that's what she said. That's just words straight out of America's mouth.
I can't move. I can't get out of the bonfire.
You even use those
The
exact
bonfire
words.
Hey,
stopped me.
Illusory.
Yeah.
There's a way to get to Deep Root early.
Okay.
Oh
could ask
yeah.
politely.
What? Yeah.
We've done Fia's quest. We need to ride the waterfall down from that place.
Yeah. 'Cause we took a turn.
The
Isn't that
aqueduct.
da-da-da-da,
We need to
wait.
get to the aqueduct.
Riding the
That's like-
waterfall is what you do before you try butthole.
Yes.
Isn't that in the
Ansel?
yeah, like the Ainsel?
River Main? No, is it?
Is it River Ainsel River downstream?
I don't
No.
remember. No, because
It's
it's on the
fuzzy.
right side of the map. It's like up in the shadowy fog area.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember exactly how I did this.
Yeah. It's fuzzy. Ainsel River is a blurry mess to me. Let's see, I'm gonna warp there. Start running around.
We have to beat the Valiant Gargoyle at the Shifra Aqueduct.
Mm-hmm.
So where is that?
Not this
Oh, I'm
one.
disconnected.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, the game crashed. That's why. All right, we're back in the game. I'm going to teleport there, and then I'll open my world back up.
Even if it's the wrong way, there's some purple loop here.
Oh, I went to the wrong spot.
Ansel River downstream.
Yeah.
Next to the
I'm
merge.
pretty sure I was the only person who like went to the site of grace and no one else really came this way. I think.
Wait,
That was
where is it?
I have that grace at least.
I don't.
Which
Wait,
one?
where is it?
It is. You have it toasted to the left.
What's it called?
Oh, I'm dumb. That's what it's called.
Wow,
It's the
cost
dumb
string
toaster.
sniping.
It's the dumb toaster bonfire. I got it.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
World
What is it actually
is. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. I was like, why isn't my world opening? Oh no. There we go. World is open.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, I honestly forget
that one
where
artist
this
adjusts the
leads.
tarot cards to cause current dungeon master character with his previous dungeon master character as a stand.
Cool.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm here.
Yeah, up behind us is where like the Astal guy was like perched up on that building, but I don't think we went down this river.
Yeah, you might be
Yeah.
right. Okay. There are items in here. I thought this was just an ant, like a rune spot.
It might be.
Oh, I'm hitting the big damage now. I love this weapon. Oh, it's so fucking good.
Immunizing horn charm.
So a condom.
Oh,
Yes.
There's more ants. Let's get them.
Because our goal should be to get to the area of Shifra that you can't access from Shifra, basically. We want to get above
Right,
that
right.
into the aqueduct. D is all...
Haven't we already been in the
I don't
area
remember
above
if we wanted-
Shifra?
No. Not this part of the area.
Isn't
I
so
don't know
not-
which way we should go first.
So
Forget
not just the area where you fight the
go
second
this
deer.
way.
No, it is not the area where you fight the second deer. I'm talking about, like, where it's near, like, under the well.
Yeah, there's some Crucible Knights. You're like
Yeah.
very high up in the level. Yeah.
There's,
Like
like,
all the
two
way down to
bosses.
that tree that's at the bottom of the world. You have to go through like a ravine full entirely
Yes.
with flying bugs.
Yes, correct. That is where we are headed. But that's not the way to go. That just leads back to...
Quick, chat. Be smart.
I will...
We can Google, but
Yeah.
you know, it's fun. Running
We ever did the
around.
boss fight
I
in the
could for a
room with the giant body?
No.
No.
Yeah, did
We
we?
have, I thought we haven't done this fight over here that I'm by. It's the one, the loading screen giant lady.
Yeah, but where are you? Oh, you're right, Keith. We haven't gone down that way.
Yeah.
That is an area we want to go to. You are correct.
Yeah.
There was other stuff
Oh.
further up this path this other way, but it was nothing that important. So, what did I get? I got soap, a bunch of butterflies, somber stone 3, formic rock.
I think we're all right.
Yeah. You guys don't have to come up this way.
One of the great lords. And again, we get some weird, like, horn senti imagery here. Look at all these people that have been turned to stone, and just kind of weird. Weird that that
Oh,
happened
They
twice.
did Melvin and Jet hugging.
All right.
Hey, wait a second.
Now it's time to do the thing.
This
And I take this. And
is
now
a forcibly iconic boss arena because
your
of how
health
much
is
they
going to
show you during loading
explode.
screens.
I'm dealing real
I don't know if
damage now.
Oh, Jesus. God. We might need some scaling.
That's what I like. I was halfway joking about pumping the numbers real high, but I feel like we should like overdo it at some point just to like until we feel like we need to go back down because we're
Yeah.
just shredding this.
I mean, the reason why we're shredding it is because we're getting to the ends of our builds too, where we have like really
Yeah.
crazy stats and weapons. Because this weapon, it will fuck everyone up, period, no matter what. The coffin is not over here, I don't think. But we can finish up Fia's quest line and stuff if we get to where we need to go, which I don't remember how to do. Oh, there's a bonfire here? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, every time you beat a boss, there's a grace. And that was a boss.
I don't know if that's true. I've beaten lots of bosses that don't drop graces.
I don't think they put graces at the end of those that one type of like bury your dead dungeon.
Yeah.
It's like the caves, that whole like subgenre of location in Elden Ring doesn't have boss
Right.
graces, but I think every other boss that isn't that or open world bosses has a grace. If you walk into a bespoke, unique room to go into it, and
Does
then fight a
Morgoth
boss in
drop a
it,
grace in front of the Erd tree? Probably, right?
I'm forgetting. Right.
Trying to figure that out. Trying to remember.
Fuck. I honestly don't remember. That's funny.
It's just one of those things that's like consistent language enough that they'll like really comically put a grace in a boss chamber that literally had a grace at the opening of the chamber.
Yeah. It's
Like they do that. They do it constantly.
All right, let's.
'Cause it's to the point where
guess
it's
we'll
so
go this
consistent
way
that
real
I
quick.
figure it's like a lore thing. Like it's meant to be the grace is dropped because it means something.
I mean, technically, grace accumulates, but bosses should be dropping remembrances. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Waterfall basin's over there. Noxtella. Maybe it's over here. Yeah, maybe it's right here. Maybe it is the waterfall basin.
Oh, it's not the death blade. There's such a sense of betrayal whenever I encounter a basilisk for the first time in a Souls game. Each time it takes longer before they finally show one. And you're like, oh, maybe they're not in this one. And then there's just a cave full of basilisks. They'll have to introduce them by dropping you into a hole full of them or something.
And because of that
It's upsetting.
methodology, you're convinced there will be a mimic eventually.
Yeah.
Is this
There
the
might still be a mimic in the game
spot?
that we just never found. I'm not convinced.
The super
I mean,
hidden mimic.
this should just lead back to the.
We're gonna zoom all the way out.
Like
The whole
Rock.
world map was a mimic, and then it just snaps shut.
What if there's just a dead mimic? Have we ever encountered a dead mimic in a video game?
An X mimic.
I don't think
Yeah.
so because they just vanish, right? Their bodies never stay there.
Imagine playing as a mimic in D&D.
We had a mimic familiar in a campaign I ran. He just turned himself into a backpack and liked to go on adventures.
Okay.
Aw.
I think
That's
maybe.
His name was Cargo.
Oh.
I think maybe we can get there from the ancestral woods. But I don't.
Quick chat answers,
no.
please.
I don't remember the path.
Toaster is lost and broken.
No, I'm fine. I'll be all right. I did this 4 months ago. I should have known.
I'm just
What are
running
you
around like
doing?
other areas
What?
that I felt like we kind of zipped through and maybe didn't check everything.
Can we
so-
refight this boss? What the fuck? It's letting me retouch the horned remains of the ancestral spirit.
Did we do both of them or did we only do one?
I thought we did both. Let's just do this one anyway.
Where are you guys? Wait.
Hollow Horn Grounds near the ancestral woods, underground right side of the map. And then I think... I don't remember how the fuck to get over there, but that's where we need to go. Is over there. So we gotta figure that out. But that's the place we gotta get to. If I go in here? Are you all gonna warp?
I don't know.
I
We're getting.
don't know.
We're all warping here, so
I'm trying
Yep.
it.
Oh, here I go.
yeah.
Nope.
Nope. I just got a black cut.
Yep, it faded to black.
No, I'm
and
here.
unblack.
Toaster, we got this.
Yeah, we can solo this.
I'm almost there.
I'm close.
Oh well. You guys have fun, I
I
guess.
thought we killed this thing, but I guess not.
God, it's gonna fade to black.
Oh,
every time
no.
someone uses it.
I just got edged. I thought the cutscene was playing or something.
Me too.
Here it comes.
This is weird. Are we all here?
No.
Except for
anything.
We
What's gonna happen when the boss spawns and then we teleport back out of the boss room?
It's the underground bottom right corner, like back at Chauffeur River. It's the one called Ancestral Woods. It's like in the middle of
it's
the
already
one with
dead.
the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
already
killed
dead.
it.
The,
Why is it this warp down here? That's so weird.
Yeah.
the go back thing is here.
Okay, well then we'll just go back to Ancestral Woods, and then I think we can just walk behind something. I think we can walk up here just to get to where we're going.
Behind something.
Yeah. There's a English.
Waterfall.
No.
Precipice?
Coffin?
No, little guy with tentacles. Tentacruel. What are they called?
Sweet.
Cruel.
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish?
Thank you,
Jellyfish.
chat, for putting that in there. Yes, thank you.
Alright, we're on jellyfish.
There is a jellyfish. Yeah, we just go up the hill towards the jellyfish, and then we can jump off and then get to where we need to
Going
go. I
peanut
think.
butter and jellyfish.
Yeah, here we go. All right, we found it. We found our way. This is where we need to go, and then we get to do Nokron, and that's fun. I'm getting a bonfire for everyone.
Didn't the guy who wrote the peanut butter jelly song die in a police standoff while on bath salts?
What?
Hold on.
What is that information?
be wrong.
I just have to process.
How does
I
one
mean,
come
I-
across such lore?
Yeah, I mean, even if you're wrong, what cursed portion of your brain worked up this phantasm?
I'm broken. You've read No Way Home. You
It's-
know I don't work right.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's wild.
What side of Chris did you just unlock?
Is that the same
The-
part of the brain that controls attraction to old
aqueduct
men?
facing cliffs.
Absolutely.
Ah,
Can-
there we go.
Can you believe people watch this Let's Play?
It's better than
It's for
anything
it's for
else.
nuggets like that.
Sorry, what was aqueduct facing cliffs? Jeez. Oh, there it is.
It's up north.
Yeah.
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 I just cashed in all my runes, and I don't know why I did it, because it's like 30,000 runes. What am I going to use that for? Why would I do this? Why did I go through this effort?
It's really hard to get enough to actually spend. Yeah. Oh, it's that right. I remember this place because I was asking if we were ever gonna go here like way early in the playthrough. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was
we
like,
need-
There's that ledge you hop down to that has like a whole fucked up place where people have superpowers.
Where people have superpowers?
Yeah, it's your introduction to where you start facing tons of Crucible Knights and they're just upsetting because they keep doing insane things at you. I posted this exact bonfire when I was taking screenshots for
My buttons aren't. Oh, my controller disconnected. That's why. I was like, why am I not dodging? What's going on?
I came to this exact bonfire to get like reference photos from my character to do my Elden Ring commission.
Hell yeah.
Bury this nerd.
And then that person ghosted Toaster.
That person,
commissioned them.
I paid them like $65 or something, and then they ghosted me. And I don't know.
That's a shame.
They're like a youth or something. You can't blame them for being weird.
They're like a youth or something.
They're like a college student being sad about something, and then they were like, "I stole your money," and I was like, "Okay, whatever. I don't care."
I
It's
stole your
fine.
money. As if it's like it's an irreconcilable thing. They could never just turn around and do the drawing.
It's fine. They literally.
I spent my hands. They can't draw anymore.
Well, they were like, "Sorry, school's been so tough. Like, I was working on your commission, but I just got really like overwhelmed. I'll get it done. I'll get you like a work in progress in the next month or two." And I was like, "Okay, that's a long time." And then they were like, haha, yeah, I mean, I'll get to it. Don't worry, I just need to do finals. And then they just deleted their Twitter and just never existed anymore. Like, okay, well.
Sounds like the youth.
I care more about not making a fuss than I do about getting your art, so it's fine. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I've only ever been conned once with furry commissions, and it was one of the first ones. And it was
Damn.
you again.
What?
Yeah, because I got art.
Toaster should bat
Oh,
it.
yeah, that one.
We paid for art with me and with Marrow and Toaster, and then that person just
Disappeared.
us.
Yeah, just totally didn't do
they
anything.
took a bunch of emergency commissions to help themselves move, and then they just ghosted everybody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
never partake in those. Those are always a red flag.
I block people who post about emergency commissions like more than once a year. Like if you're posting emergency commissions that frequently, sorry, it's done. You're not trustworthy. Order healing, yay! I like that spell.
Hire a financial advisor. I implore you.
I don't know. Maybe that's classism. Maybe
It's not classism.
maybe-
No. you should if you cannot balance your budget that consistently, or you're like.
I mean,
unable
to be
find
clear,
work
if you're
in between
posting
that time,
emergency commissions that often, what they're actually called is just regular commissions. You're just talking.
Yeah,
about
this
yes,
is-
correct.
it's
just
just a
trying-
job. Yeah.
You're just trying to
correct.
have an income, and you're framing it like an
Well-
emergency.
But I meant like the idea of an emergency implies there's something unexpected or like you.
There's a
didn't
room
plan
behind the
for that.
waterfall. This is where they hold all the banana stand money.
Is it? I think you have to burn it down first.
There we go. And there's some
You
centipedes.
explicitly do not want to burn it down.
But it's in the banana, so you have to
All
burn
right,
the banana. To
don't
get
kill
into
this
it.
person. This is important. This is
Oh, there's a snail.
this is
Oh, no, that's a person.
Darian. This is Devin's
Other D.
brother, the other D, and we can hand him the twinned armor set, and and then he gives us inner order, and then he moans. And that's all he's got to say to us after we deliver him the armor of his brother, of whom he shares a body or soul with or something. Something like that. And then we come up here and we can do a fun boss fight. Did you hear the quotation marks in that?
Everyone's favorite boss fight in Elden Ring.
I think this fight's
A gurgle?
fine, I guess. I don't know.
The fight's so
Oh.
nice they spawned him twice.
I wanted to die.
All right, we hit him with this. And then
know where
I
it
hit him
is.
with Ronnie's Dark Moon. Oop.
Left from D, Andrew.
Oh.
Upstairs, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
now I
and
see
the
it.
big door, the really big door that's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Big
yeah,
door.
This guy.
It is like pitch black.
And then you hit that. And then we do a good old Terry Magica. And then we do this,
That's-
and it's gonna
that should
do
be your
fucking
name.
15,000.
That should be somebody's name in a tabletop RPG campaign.
Terry Magica.
Terry Magica.
The funny thing about it is that Terrence is the anglicized name that like imperialists attribute.
Is that Terry Gilliam's actual name? Is Terrence?
I don't.
Terrence Gilliam.
Terrence
That's right.
Gilliam.
That's it sounds very funny
Only-
though, which makes it
Yeah,
right.
only his mom calls him that.
Terrence Pratchett.
Terrence Pratchett.
The only Terrence I can think of is Terrence and Phillip, and that's not a good start.
Terrence
Wait,
Howard.
That's a
it's
bad
Terrence and
one
Phillip
too.
Coulson.
That's a bad one too, though. I was gonna
That's
say
a bad one too. Yeah. So that's no bueno. I'm sad that I missed out on my spell damage ability because we didn't do Celiovis's quest correctly, but that's fine. I'm not that burnt up about it. I'm
Why are
just
you so far
resentful.
away. Don't you have a
Anyone
weak?
who thinks they have like the secret answers to the universe and like how physics actually works is just like, oh man, that person's gone. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's just not like that's you can't vibe like physics and stuff. You know, it's not.
We're already ignoring all available information.
So he made a good point, which like it sounds gatekeepery to say, but he like you don't get to have an opinion on physics. And
Yeah,
that's, like,
yeah.
That's like the most. And I'm just like that kind of stuck with me because it's just like that's a very like good way of putting it. It's like you can really only like challenge theories if you have a deep understanding of like all of the ones that already exist.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be like an armchair physicist and just be
Well,
like,
it's
this
like
is...
it's like when people are like, "Oh, like the gatekeeping science is like elitist and oligarchist." You just want the people to, like control everything. You're creating a too structured
Yes.
society, and it's like, no, but I do think smart people should run things
Yeah.
generally. I don't think that's a problem that we need to solve for.
Right, exactly.
It's like calling
Coffin
the
time.
concept of truth gatekeeping.
I like
Well,
this. I like this coffin. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I like this coffin
good.
transition because it's really weird. So we get in a coffin in this one, and then we close the thing. Come on, the cutscene's playing slower than I remembered it. And then now it actually lights up with Cypher, which is the two fingers magic, and it literally carries us.
So it explains why this coffin works. The other
Yes.
coffin does not have it. The other one just says Indiana Jones logic, where it's like, what?
It just goes, yeah.
Yeah, like this coffin could survive a nuke. You're like, you can somehow survive in it, despite how this should definitely kill you.
Yeah, exactly. That's just weird. It's just like a weird thing. I've mentioned it a few times in this playthrough so far, but this coffin's weird. It's the only one that does this, and it's like fascinating.
It's the not weird one.
Yeah, exactly. It's the
Actually,
one not weird one, correct. And then when we get up here, the coffin's all fucked up. It's all fucked up. Look at it.
It
It's
would not
all
handle a return
destroyed.
trip. These are one-use coffins, very expensive travel.
It's just odd. It's just an odd thing that I think about sometimes. Is I get caught up on this coffin and the lore of this coffin.
So airplanes before landing gear.
Anyway, that's that.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Wait,
We're in the deep
are
route.
we still in the...
We're in the deep
Oh,
route.
We're up north. Okay.
Yeah.
It's real.
We made
We
it.
just need to go south, right?
I do actually like this area. I
This
really
was around the time where I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, how much underground is there?
I just don't like the part where you walk on the tree because I fall off.
Because another untrustworthy tree platform to walk around on in these games.
I need to. They really slowed down the startup of Nebula, man. They're really making me hurt right now. Oh!
It's always funny to see who those pick.
I was
Yeah.
totally not expecting it to be me, and then it was me.
Their name changed.
Yeah, I revived my man, my guy, my boy.
Revived Garza.
Revived Garza. I'm back, bitches.
You revised your name into Revived.
I did. This is correct.
Evil ant.
Oh, hello. Time to die, Ant.
Garza sprung forth from the corpse of Sapsi Curvesa, and now
The hammerhead is such a good design.
I love it.
Love it.
God, I love Nebula. It feels so good. It's such a good Ash of War. I love it so much.
I love seeing pictures of the ants those are based on. They look so goofy. Because they'll just like use their head to block entrance to the hive.
We don't.
Yeah,
have
I
a
don't think I've
map.
seen that ant before.
We don't have a map.
Just like a trapdoor spider, but it's their face.
Yeah.
Basically,
They're
yeah.
like, all right, this is your one job. You do this until you die.
I'm a living plug.
Yeah.
Mm.
Their home gets attacked more often than you think. They're not like just standing around all day.
Nope, they're a living plug.
Oh,
How long do you think they live? They're ants.
I don't know. I'm assuming.
I don't
ants
know
live for
how
a long time.
long. Yeah, I don't know. How
Actually, I have no
long.
idea how long ants live.
In my head,
gonna
an
say,
ant
like,
probably
very long
lives
years.
like a year or two, maybe.
I feel like that's what I would
That
guess
sounds
too, actually.
optimistic.
I think the queens probably live a lot longer than the rest of them.
See, I don't think that. I think the queen lives enough to spawn, and then more
But
of
she's
them
just doing
appear.
that constantly. It's not like an event. That's
Yeah,
just every day.
maybe.
Every day.
To not fuck up this job.
Remember when I said that you can't keep science? I'm gatekeeping your science.
It's like, what if ant queens were like Skaven?
Alrighty, I'm
Just
up in the
upsetting titty farms.
I'm up in the Elden
Yeah.
Stars cave. Where's everyone? Why did everyone else go that far away?
I don't know, just didn't know where
Oh,
you're going, I guess.
We went down the tree.
That we
branch.
just, I guess we just thought we knew what the level was shaped like.
Follow somebody.
There's a couple different ways you can go.
Yeah,
we followed the Journey 2012 lighting.
Let's kill these ants before we
Forward
go
to the
to
level.
Yeah, this is where there's like a bunch of runes and stuff, and the Elden Stars
followed.
incantation, which I think Ka will want.
He's dead.
Killed.
There we go. There's that. I need to figure out what the heck I'm eating for dinner, y'all. What's gonna happen for dinner, everyone? What are we thinking?
I had some dollar store beef and peppers.
Oh,
I had a burrito.
Yeah, while I'm
you,
here,
you had the Cowboy Bebop special,
Yeah.
but with beef.
Fucking.
Cowboy Bebop.
I just did 11,000 damage in a single hit. Just want to put that out
Neat.
there.
I'll just watch the rest of the playthrough. It's fine.
God, Nebula is so good. Bastard Star is such a cool weapon.
Yeah, underrated Guardian.
Such a
all
cool
right, I just
weapon.
I unlocked another set of grace while we were down here. But
Sick.
now I'm gonna leave the game and then rejoin just to get back up to where you are.
That's a good idea. Everyone should do that.
Okay.
It blew my fucking mind when I realized, wait a minute, Karen Gillian, she was a Doctor Who companion. Oh!
Yeah, it's Amy
Yeah.
Pond.
Yep.
Yep, that's Amy Pond. I was watching Doctor Who at the time, so it was a very distinct, like, oh, that's why she's leaving.
Yeah.
I was right. So it says, according to
Okay.
Wikipedia, a queen can live for 30 years. So I was wrong about the queen. But worker ants live 1 to 3 years.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That sounded right.
I unlocked another grace. Illusion, I found different ones.
Oh, what the hell?
This place is labyrinthine.
I found.
I just saw like
I found
unknown
the one-
warp 2, so we'll see how this goes. Hopefully things didn't get weird. I'm here with Toaster, so that looks right.
Is he at the Great Waterfall Crest one?
We are just not near. Like Toaster is up in a weird cave that you could get to by
right.
going
He's not
block the tree.
right.
Yeah, so you have to leave and warp, like rejoin to get back to where it is.
performing Toaster wrong warp.
Yes, exactly.
Where am I?
You got to use the cloudy ball.
I'm going to take this moment to pee.
Enjoy.
I will be right back.
Savor it.
All right. Who are we waiting for right now, Ka?
I think so.
Yeah, Ka should be back.
Okay. We are back. I think I'm going to have like fast food for dinner for the first time in a while.
Whoa. How fast?
Nice.
I'm returned.
It's MacD's.
She's nuts.
Macadamia nuts?
Yes, that's
Yes.
exactly right.
I don't know if I've ever had those. They just sound neat.
They just
What?
sound
Wait.
neat.
Macadamia nuts are really good, and you've probably
it's a
had
fun
them.
word to say.
You've probably had them. It's very easy to get. I'll just buy some, and then you can eat some when you're
I'll
at my
just
house in 2
buy
days.
some.
You could just pick them up at Winco. Like they're not hard. Anyway,
I
let's.
don't know what that is.
What? Oh, I guess we didn't have them in Washington.
What?
You are
What?
right.
Things are in fact
It's a local
regional, whether
co-op.
you like them or not.
Oh, a co-op. Those are cool.
Yeah.
Winco's a co-op.
Yeah.
Wow, these are a lot of.
It's a
Newman
lot of
runes.
Newman's runes.
Yeah.
Oh my
tasty.
god.
Oh yeah, I
Newman, where are you getting these runes from?
So Illusion, this is like one of the biggest like, Dark Souls 2 moments.
Yeah.
Just the giant queen, the weird side room with a giant queen in it. You're like, huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And mix that with like all the spiders dropping in Seldora. It's like kind of those
Yeah.
two moments together.
Isn't this game
I love that. I love
co-directed
that.
by the director of Dark Souls 2?
Yeah. Tanimura worked
Yeah.
on Elden Ring. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just a lot of Dark Souls 2 isms in a way that I'm not used to seeing.
A lot of
In the-
experimental
in-
mechanics from DS2 come back in Elden Ring. Yeah.
Yeah, but also just like references.
Yeah.
just things that are like, oh, like cosmetically, this is a Dark Souls 2 reference.
Yeah.
Akin to like how Dark Souls 3 kept constantly going back to Dark Souls 1 specifically. You're like, Elden Ring remembers Dark Souls 2 a lot.
Elden Stars.
Brian is playing through Dark Souls 2 for the first time, and I was watching his stream like the other week, and he found that side room with the giant bug.
It's just
Wait,
so
he did
strange.
kill it, and I was like, oh no! Like,
Brian, as in friend of the channel, Brian J.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
playing Dark Souls 2 for the first time.
Good for
Yeah,
him.
I didn't respond to him yet. I feel bad. He DM'd me last night, but it was really hectic with getting back from camping and everything. But he's venting about the DLC. He's not happy with it.
That's very funny.
I gotta respond.
The DLCs are so good, except for the bonus area in each of them.
I have.
I think he's bouncing off like all of the DLC. He's just like not feeling. He's just like, oh, this is the game. Like
some people hate the DLCs.
I like the DLC apart from. I don't know if part's the right word, but it's like, yeah, the side areas are designed for co-op, so like that is the
Yeah,
correct way
each
to
of them
play
has like a
game.
weird, nightmarishly crowded co-op gauntlet side area that you have to run through every time
It's-
to attempt the boss, and 2 of the 3 bosses for those zones are also bad.
It's a bit much, but like my memories of the game are like playing the game when it was new, so it was
Yeah.
very and on PlayStation, so it was just very
Yeah.
like constant activity. So like you
Yeah.
you could tell people like, oh, just you multiplayer, because like didn't matter what your soul memory was, just because the player base was so fucking massive that like
Yeah.
you were guaranteed to find activity.
My
Just like, but yeah,
memory of
I
the
just generally didn't want to play them.
My memory of the DS2 DLC is really weird because I played that game obviously like when it came out, and I was living in Japan at the time, but I was playing on an American copy. And so like I was playing on off hours, and like the overall vibe was very strange, and I kept getting paired with like really weird people when I played online. So I played through the DLCs once, but I truly don't
I think, like, 4
remember
times.
any of them really, except for the first one, the poison area.
The Shulva.
Yeah, Shulva with like
the first
sin.
one's fun because that
and...
one's like a halfway, feels like a revisit of the DLC of Dark Souls 1, but it's also like full of like goofy Zelda mechanics.
Yeah, I
and
just remember it
constantly descending
being
down like a pit.
like a platforming area. Yeah, where,
Yeah,
where
and,
you're
like, Alana and
constantly.
Sin are neat boss fights. I was stuck on Alana for a week back then. I was gonna die. I was so frustrated when I was not good enough at the game yet. But like
No,
the
I
optional
love
fight
the
for that
secret-
DLC is
Ah!
bad. Oop, someone rested.
Whenever you hear
I thought I
someone
didn't know
scream when
we
you
had
rest
this
at a
on
site of grace, it is your duty to then constantly rest at that site of grace
Yeah.
a bunch of times.
It is
that you have,
terrifying.
like, it's like it's all or
Yeah.
nothing. It's like don't rest or rest a bunch of times. Like,
Okay.
I actually can't remember the optional fight at the end of that DLC.
I don't remember. I don't remember
well, you
anything.
have the Shulva one is what, like Sin and
Yeah.
Alana.
Yeah, Sin and Alana are the 2 main ones, and each of them had like a was the first DLC the blue smelter demon?
I don't remember.
One of them was
Blue?
Blue Smelter Demon, one of them was Lud and Zollan, but then I feel like one of them was Sir Alon, and it's like, oh wait, that's a good one.
Yeah, Alan's in the Broom Tower.
Or was Alon the real final boss, not an optional one? I might just not be able to remember one of the 3 optional bosses.
Yeah.
'cause
I
they were so
remember
bad.
people being frustrated about Fume Night. Was that Dark Souls 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Fume Night was
Alon.
fucking brutal. Yeah, I think it was Fume Night and Alon were back to back in the second
Yeah.
DLC. Third DLC was
I remember
Lu-
so
was- it was-
little.
The optional fight was Lud and Zollan, which was 2 tigers.
Yeah, the
at end of a
tigers.
horn-
The end of the snow
at the end
area.
of the full-
Fuck the
Right,
Virgin
Geo
outskirts.
Gauntlet.
The thing is that like I remember making it through that area and like not being that not being that plussed about it, but then like people talk about the tiger fight like it's the worst thing in the world, and I'm not even disagreeing that it is. I just truly don't fucking remember it. Like I remember there being tigers,
Yeah.
and I remember fighting them, but I just like straight up don't remember any other details of that fight or like how it happens or why it happens.
It's probably
Like-
kind of quaint by now because
Yeah.
difficulty has like crept so far in Souls games and Sekiro and everything that the idea of like, oh, it's that slow tiger, but now second one shows up is like adorable almost.
Fighting two
Probably
guys
not-
at once
it's
is
probably not
like
the biggest deal.
yeah, like pretty quaint at this point. It's like funny because like the things that I think I remember so fondly of Dark Souls 2 The thing is, like, I don't even fucking remember. I remember playing through Scholar and being one of the rare people that genuinely really likes Scholar more than I like the base game. But the oh, there's a rune bear in here. I forgot about this. I think he dropped something interesting. Yeah, but he has like 45 billion health. But
back by the waterfall.
Yeah, behind the waterfall.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
And he's a fucker. Ah, fuck. The things about DS2 that I like really distinctly remember are like things that nowadays would not be considered remarkable, but things that were at the time considered very difficult, like things like Dark Lurker and the Chasm
Dark
of the
Lurker is
Deep.
not hard by much. That'd just be like a very normal Elden Ring.
Yeah.
That confused me because Dark Lurker was honestly just chill.
Yeah, Prince of Death's Cyst. That's what we get.
So, like, it's a fight full of extremely telegraphed attacks. Like, it was just kind of like a just kind of hangout vibe. I don't remember why it was ever hard.
People were just really upset that it split into two, and they used the Chasm of the Deep as like a good example of why Dark Souls 2 was a gang squad game, because there's also the 3-person gang squad in that area, and
I don't feel that way about it. To me, like, because people say that about the bosses, like Alana or whatever and stuff like that.
For me, it was just that
she's
fight
someone's
specifically was lame.
It's more the levels themselves that I feel get a little ganky with the enemy placement. None of the boss fights I felt were like, I don't know, really all that terrible with it. Like the boss that we just fought, the Valiant Gargoyle, like that to me was harder and more stressful than like any duo or like trio kind of boss.
It's funny because we've
just
this point after Elden Ring, we've just been through so much shit.
That,
like nothing in Dark Souls 2 would ever impress or surprise. It's like
just the level,
like,
the boss.
But like even at even at the time back then, I could not understand what people's problem was with Shrine of Amana.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
They acted like it was the most evil level ever made in the series. It's like I literally just like would breeze through it every single time.
There's complications to that, yeah.
Yeah, how close did you play that to launch?
At launch. I covered that launch for my channel. It's a big part of why I started having views is because I covered Dark Souls 2 at launch, and I covered Skull of the First Sin at launch.
It's gonna be interesting for me going back to play those with this as my first.
I think you will find it very cute.
Shrine of Amana was extremely not a big deal.
There's a couple ways it can go.
I don't think I was even summoning the lady that's there.
There's a couple different reactions. It's like, so the boss fights are generally a lot easier, so you're like, oh, this is nothing. But there's some people who aren't. They have longer boss runbacks.
Yeah.
And so if you play the game with like more of like an action mentality, where like, oh, I'm gonna go in and like really like perfect the boss's movesets. Like, there could actually be some friction where, like, you're getting your ass kicked and dying on the way to the boss.
Yeah.
But if you play, like, very, like, cautiously and like, treat the levels as, like, a holistic experience to, like, oh, like, I'm clearing the full area,
like
and I have to treat the level as the boss itself, then it's, I think, pretty easy. Like, more of, like, an RPG adventure game mentality. Because, like, some people will talk about, like, boss, you know, like, getting to the Capra Demon's, like, the most horrible experience ever, and it's incredibly difficult, and I'm just like... this is easy.
Yeah,
like
the thing.
Not hard, but...
Yeah, the thing I think of Dark Souls, like it's gonna sound awful to people, but like the thing I think of when I think of Dark Souls is that like, or the earlier Souls games just in general, is this idea of like they are games that expect you to do your homework, and what I mean by that is not like you have to plan. I mean like, oh, you died. It is now time to do your assignment for the day, which is going through and killing the enemies so you can get to the boss and fight the boss again. Like. It's very much just about steady, slow progress forward.
Yeah, it's a slower pace. Like
there's definitely always a learning curve sort of experience where you're just adapting to what the game's going to put you through. And like, because it's weird to think about now, but once upon a time, I definitely remember hanging out with Andrew and just being like stuck on the Taurus demon for an entire day. And a significant percentage of that was the fact that we couldn't get to the boss consistently because they have you play a very long level full of a bunch of different enemies and different environments and traps just to get to him each time. So it was like it felt like a fucking 5 to 10 minute gauntlet every time you just wanted to get to him. And like in modern year, 13 years later, I know I'm describing the Undead Berg and that sounds insane. But
Yeah,
that
'cause
is
it's
like
actually,
the
like, very
experience.
great experience,
That's the
yeah.
experience of learning Dark Souls at first. Is that kind of curve.
Yeah.
But I don't. But I can't relate to that with Shrine of Amana because that's so late in the game at that point that I'm like, how are you not ready for
people
the
had-
basic idea of creeping forward and just dodging these extremely telegraphed, slow-moving projectiles that you know are coming and when, while fighting like
Yeah.
one guy at a time? Like I
People were
genuinely
People
can't
bad at
comprehend.
games.
I can't comprehend how people got that far and were struggling with that
No,
level because it was like
I-
a universally decried level.
Yeah, I didn't think it was the worst thing ever either, but it was definitely an element of like those enemies could see you and lock
Further
onto
than you
from
could see them. Yeah, that was the
further
big
than-
thing.
Yeah, like,
it's just like
further
you
than
weren't
you
even
would
like shooting
expect.
arrows. It was slow-moving,
slow-moving
homing
bullet
projectiles
spells,
that you
yeah.
can dodge. Yeah,
Now this change.
it's also a
in,
really short level.
this change in design philosophy, has that been gradual, or is Elden Ring like an outlier?
Oh, gradual.
Yeah.
It's been throughout the whole series. Yeah, they've definitely
If you play them in order, you will start recognizing Elden Ring in Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, there's like
and in Bloodborne.
And even some parts of
and
Bloodborne, yeah.
Dark
And
Souls 2
Bloodborne
has a lot of
literally
it.
came out only a year after Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a linear progression through the series, I would say, and
Yeah.
you'll notice it. Like Demon Souls is the least
least
feeling
like Elden Ring. Yep.
and Dark Souls 3 is the most. Yeah.
I think it's
In
like
Demon
a
Souls, they didn't give you checkpoints.
there's a really
Just-
weird
You had to beat every level front to back, and if you were lucky, there was
Yeah.
a gate that opened somewhere that gave you a shortcut.
Yeah,
Because there was
open a
no.
shortcut.
You didn't get a new checkpoint until the boss spawned it when you killed him.
Yeah. The thing with the series too, though, is that like I do think that there is just objectively like a very different overall design goal in the Souls games than in Elden Ring. Like none of the Souls games really feel like Elden Ring completely,
No, I like them
right.
more.
but you will feel the Elden Ring isms. Like each game, like it's weird to say it like this, but like Elden Ring is sort of a combination of like a bunch of ideas that they experimented with in previous Souls games,
Yeah,
but like
Sekiro is
couldn't
in this
fit.
game,
Yeah.
Which sounds unhinged to bring up.
Yeah, this game is.
No, but it's
I
cool,
actually
yeah.
think of this game as like more like Sekiro than I think of it as like Dark Souls. And I don't even. I don't necessarily. It is because you can jump. It's because you can jump and you can stealth, and like your relationship to the environment in Elden Ring is much closer to your relationship
Elden Ring
in.
is actually an immersive sim.
That
Imagine if you
hurt
had
my
hide the
brain.
bodies.
That made my brain hurt, Keith. Ow.
Didn't you say that that's how Japanese audiences kind of engage with it?
No, not like an immersive sim. More, yeah, it's very complicated. They
They
treat
play
it.
as the hero, not as
Yes.
having builds.
Yes, they play as the hero, not as a build. So like they're approaching it like it's like Dragon Quest or like a more traditional JRPG where it's like, I have gotten the magic wand. The magic wand is used to hit people from afar. I have 10 int, but I'm going to cast my magic spell at the enemy because I have it now. Like, that's like, fuck. I died.
They don't specialize. And that kind of makes sense because you don't have a party to fill in the gaps when you specialize.
Yes.
Unless you're playing like this.
So
Unless
they'll
you're
sit there
playing
and
like
try
this.
to have like a heal and a shield
Yes.
and a big weapon and a bow, and they'll just be like going through them all like it's Zelda.
Yes,
Yeah.
like, very
Yeah.
much like it's Zelda is like a really good way to describe it. And like that's honestly part of why like watching Japanese streamers play these games is really fascinating because like all of my logic for how these games are meant to be played is like, I mean, there are Japanese players who play like we do. Like that's like not crazy, but just I would say like on average the regular Japanese streamer that's playing this game is approaching it much more like it's wizardry or like it's I guess not wizardry, but like that kind of game where it's like kind of like has its roots
The
in
mountain
tabletop.
of fundamental assumptions are out the window.
Yes, exactly. And like the way that they play it is just very different. And I don't know if that comes from
They
a
haven't been poisoned like us to be like, oh, is this an Assassin's Creed game?
Yeah.
It's like Dark Souls.
yeah, exactly. Like
When you design encounters and bosses with that in mind, it becomes very interesting because you can get away with gimmick fights if
Yes.
you like have the idea that, oh yeah, all my players have a bow they can swap to.
yes.
That's the thing you'll see when you go backwards is you'll see more gimmick fights in
Yep.
earlier games.
Yep. There are a ton of gimmick fights in all of the Souls games, more so than there are in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and even more than that, like fights in most Souls games ultimately boil down to like very simple mechanics. Like it's like, this is a fight where you fight two guys. That's the whole point of the fight, is that it's two guys.
Yeah.
Or like,
The
you know,
idea
like
of an
things like
intense
that.
one-on-one massive skill check boss fight like practically wasn't even in the series until like what's his name? Artorias,
yeah, the DLC of Dark Souls 1.
Like the DLC of the first game. It
There's
is the most recognizable modern boss in the series.
There's a coffin here. Where did the fuck does this coffin go to?
None of your business, Dan.
I do remember it being there, but I don't remember where it goes.
I think it just leads back to Ainsel,
like
maybe.
what? Like
I think
False
so,
King
yeah.
Allant isn't like that.
Yeah.
Arnstein and Smo aren't even entirely like that. Like,
yeah, I don't know. The I would say Ornstein and Smo, False King Alan, and Flame Lurker are like the three most
like
early
further
Souls bosses that are closest to a modern.
Flame Lurker is a weird experience because so many people's experience killing Flame Lurker is kind of cheesing him, just trying to figure out how to deal with how he has an infinite health.
Have we gone
you can't seem to face off against
to
him.
the tree over here? By the way, I don't think everyone has.
We're hanging out at the boss. Do you want us to come down there?
Yeah, we should do this part first, because one of the Crucible Knights are down here. The Siluria, I think, is here. So the reason why, what was I gonna say? Fuck. Flame Lurker. A lot of people's experience with Flame Lurker is cheesing it, and I think that this is like an interesting piece of history that people forgot. People didn't cheese Flame Lurker because it's an easily cheesable boss. People cheesed Flame Lurker because it was the hardest boss ever made up to that point. Like that. That was
upsetting.
That was
like,
the
Flame Lurker is one of the first bosses you encounter where you're genuinely like, what do I even do?
Yeah, and it's funny because
the introduction
probably
of Souls games that have fucking exploding after image attacks and stuff.
There's a good chance if you weren't talking to people online, there's a good chance you got to that point in the game without knowing that iframes exist on rolls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Completely.
Like
exactly.
That's
a lot of the struggles having to deal so much of Demon Souls, not knowing what the trick was to even playing this franchise.
Yeah,
it's like the universal language of everyone talks about. It's like, oh, you just dodge, and people make parodies about it now, and it's just like the thing that people associate Souls games with is the dodge roll.
Yeah,
and you probably were trying to block everything at that point.
Yep.
It's just
you probably already beat Tower Knight by blocking everything.
Yeah. It's very interesting to watch people go back to Demon Souls as well and like try to apply later Souls game logic where those games got more complicated. When like those, like Demon Souls, even Dark Souls 1, like those fights are so simple and people overcomplicate them for what they are. And I think Flame Lurker is a really interesting example of this because Flame Lurker is a boss that is just what we consider Souls game fundamentals now. Like every boss is Flame Lurker. There's back
then he was a playthrough defining nightmare boss because everyone else was like Stinkmonger.
Exactly.
Leechmonger, like silly fights where you're like, it was way more Zelda-y a lot of the time.
Yeah. And like
Dragon God.
Yeah, puzzle bosses and stuff like that. And like I kind of miss a little bit of that because I do think that that's like a really interesting example of Souls games kind of their core ideology being like themes as mechanics and like themes as fights where it's like, okay, we are
the Dark Souls 2 boss that eats you and rips your armor off.
Yes, exactly. Like simple weird little gimmicks like that like really define how you encounter you deal with encounters, right? Because like the whole logic of that is like, we are presenting a game design problem to you. How are you going to solve it? There is a key, but there are other methods. And like, that's what I think of as the ideology of Souls games. And that's partially why I get so frustrated when people are like, the only true way to play Souls is the solo one-on-one, no magic, only light roll, melee damage only. Because, like, even more than the whole idea of these games being multiplayer focused and stuff like that, like, from their start, I would say even now, like, still a majority of these games are not those skill check fights where it's like, how good are your reflexes? Most of them are, how well do you understand this boss? And it's just interesting. It's interesting to see the slow shift that came with that.
That's why it's completely incoherent whenever somebody is like, Dark Souls 2 is still the hardest one, which weirdly comes up somehow. And you're like, oh no,
people
you
do
just
have a hard time
started with Dark Souls 1.
Yeah,
Right.
people do have a hard time going back to the older games, which I find interesting because again, it's the bosses are much harder in their later titles, but it is that trade-off of
Siluria.
If-
Ah!
Oh,
her
yeah,
health
another
disappeared.
There's no Fume Knight anywhere in Dark Souls 1,
right.
She's dead.
let alone
No, she's not.
Radahn.
Yeah.
But yeah, people some people bounce off the level design though, feeling like the kind of slow, careful progress is really because people talk about
I did.
Shrine of Storms, the second Shrine of Storms level in Demon Souls as being like a really hard
Oh,
area.
she killed me, I think. I was healing. Fuck.
Weird.
Right? Isn't that weird? It's just like
Yeah, Shrine of Storms is really neat.
really neat, and I never really thought of it as a particularly difficult area. It's like, okay, yeah, you have those cramped hallways, and there's the guy
health
shooting
came
laser
back.
beams, and there's like the but like whatever. I don't know. Like, it's kind of funny to me that
I'm running away.
people talk about that as being like a really difficult, challenging experience, and it's just like, but the bosses from later games are so much harder than all of that.
Yeah. I think about that a lot just because, like, I still think of, or let me rephrase, it's hard to play these games.
Takes damage.
She's probably glitched because I'm dead. I am seeing her health bar go down, but she seems to have a lot more life all of a sudden than she did when I was fighting her.
Yeah, ha 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 hoy.
That's a lot of damage.
I guess the thought that I was trying to approach to is the same way that you put effort into Elden Ring bosses, like.
Yeah.
If you put that effort into the levels of the older Souls games, you won't have a hard time with them.
Yeah.
But if you're expecting levels to be like something just kind of not that hard to get through, and then a challenging boss at the end, you might be surprised when like the level is the real effort. It's like, oh, just
Yep.
the same way you work towards memorizing boss movesets, like memorize enemy placements in the level, like just like work on that, and it's not hard.
I think the craziest thing about that too, though, is that you get into this weird feedback loop with people like this who are like frustrated because they see the Souls games as once again those like 1v1 combat gauntlets where you're just supposed to fight the boss and parry the boss forever perfectly. And like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy parrying the bosses and stuff, but they don't apply that logic to the levels, which are also that. Like, if you're like, people view the interstitial level portions of Souls games, they'll talk about it like, oh, I love the exploration, but then they'll act like the actual navigation of a level is tedious, like it's the bad part of the game.
Right.
When like the bosses are just the levels again, like that's really what they are. So it's just like, I don't know, I think about that a lot, and I feel like there's a fundamental disconnect there that like hasn't been represented enough as people talk about these games.
It's funny because like you get like the Shrine of Amana situation. It's like the level ends with the Demon of Song.
Yeah.
Oh,
a funny frog you probably beat on your first try.
Yeah.
I think that speaks to something of like my mindset being a little bit different from the fan base in a lot of ways. Is I cannot shut up about how cool the Demon of Song is, and people are like, "Really, that boss?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
because how hard the fight is has nothing to do with like.
it's really neat.
It's just its design is one of the most visually interesting monster designs I've ever seen. I feel like whoever designed that boss, I hope they are in a good position at FromSoftware because that was some creative. Like,